Over on our hotline right now, we got Grant Hall, who loves to come on with us on Wednesdays. We always love having Grant on. He is a member of the Arkansas Sportscasters and Sports Writers Hall of Fame. He gives us some of his time every Wednesday. Grant, good morning. Happy playoff week. How you doing?
Doing well. It's sunny in Fayetteville, and how is it in North Carolina?
It's cloudy. It's dark. It's been raining most of the time we've been here. And Grant, we're playing in a theater later tonight, so it's just a little bit of a different sort of a setting than we're used to for college basketball.
What's the temperature there?
I think it's in the high 50s. Yeah, but indoors it's just fine. In my room right now, my hotel room, I got it set to 69. That's a good one.
What is Cherokee close to? I'm trying to think where that is in North Carolina.
It's in the mountains. It's about an hour west of Asheville. I think it's maybe an hour and a half south of Knoxville. It's really pretty here. There isn't much going on in Cherokee outside of the casino, and in the casino, not much going on outside of gambling.
I saw the other day that one of the golf courses in the Asheville area was going to play host. Maybe it was a senior open next year, and they've had to move that because of all the damage. So that area, I guess, is still digging out a little bit.
Hey, speaking of golf, I watched that crypto match yesterday that was Brooks Koepka, and DeChambeau. It was kind of the LIV versus the PGA, and it wasn't doing much, so I ended up watching most of that. You could tell Rory wanted it, man. He was 4 under on his own ball through his first 3. They had that little back and forth, DeChambeau and stuff, but Rory was out for blood.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, Matt, that maybe this is a precursor for him. Maybe this will springboard him into winning his first Masters next year. I mean, I know it's silly season stuff, hit and giggle, but, yeah, he was good. And,
it helps, too, when Scotty Scheffler is your partner, right? He's the best. It's like, hey, let me get the best partner in the world, and then we'll go play golf.
Yeah, and I think Rory, I missed about the first 11 holes of it, but I think Rory made a long eagle putt, and then DeChambeau missed a 4-footer. So
yeah, on the fringe, that was sick,
yeah. Yeah, well, it's fun. It's fun stuff. Probably the best part of the telecast was Barkley, as far as I could tell. The 4 guys weren't exactly, I don't know, great comedians or anything, but of course Barkley's always entertaining.
He goes, Rory, how many Snicker bars, how many protein bars, how much do you eat on the course per round? And Rory's like, not as much as you, Chuck.
Yeah, I taped that. I'm going to have to watch the rest of that sometime on a slow day.
Barkley needs to be a golf commentator sometimes. He can commentate on just about anything, because sometimes being a color commentator, just being a studio host, is just about giving everybody that you're covering about as much crap as you possibly can. None better than Barkley when it comes to that.
Yeah, he said at one point he was talking about David Fairty used the word arboretum, and he said, what does that mean? He said, I'm used to working with a guy like Shaq who just grumbles things, mumbles things. But Fairty, I've always liked his comment. I was really disappointed when he went to LIV Golf, but at least we got to hear him last night a little bit.
And I thought Bubba did good as well, too. That's the first time I heard this voice. I was like, is this Bubba Watson for real? I thought he was all right, too.
Bubba's like 47 now, man. I remember seeing him give an exhibition out in Arizona one time, and he had yet to win a tournament at that time, but he would do things like he would turn a driver upside down, hit it right-handed about 280 yards, and the guy is not average when it comes to that.
Hey, Grant, put in perspective for me, the players are coming in from the transfer portal to Arkansas football and the way that that's being received in some ways. For case in point, I had a text a moment ago about the tight end, Jaden Platt, that's coming in out of Texas A&M. I mean, you got to replace almost your entire tight end position outside of maybe Shamar Easter if they don't move in the wide receiver. I know Sam's talked about that, and Andreas Pashka. And he says, well, the kid only got 24 snaps in the year, so he can't be all that good. He was a 4-star coming out of high school. He's a redshirt freshman. It's a tough position to break through sometimes. They had older players ahead of him that also were getting more time. But, if you wanted to, you can pick apart every single player that Arkansas has got coming in, because none of them are SEC players, and some of them are coming from lower-level programs. But also, this Cam Shanks, top punt returner in the country. This 6'8" tackle from Oregon. I'm fascinated by the idea of someone like that coming in to play offensive line for Arkansas. This defensive end, Ken Talley, the guy played for Penn State and Michigan State. I'm assuming he's got some athleticism to him. But I feel like sometimes any portal addition will be viewed with almost jaundiced eyes, just because they're replacing somebody that was productive and they really weren't productive where they were.
I was talking to someone yesterday, guys, about just the whole process, and some of these colleges are almost treating it like NFL organizations, and you have a percentage you will allot to quarterbacks and all the different positions and so forth. And you mentioned tight end. It's interesting. Luke Haas, we've always liked him as a player, and my understanding is that he really didn't want to leave Arkansas, and basically you hear all kinds of figures. Let's just say player X, okay, got a $500,000 offer. So the guy goes and talks to his original school and says, can you match that, or what can you do? And maybe they say, well, you only caught passes for 300-something yards this year, and I've always thought Haas, for example, is a willing blocker, even though he's undersized. But he lost some time, got hurt a little bit in that. And, it's just, I don't like any of it, but, it's the world we live in. And I know Mike Irwin keeps telling me that revenue sharing may make a difference with this after a year or two. Isaiah Satania, I really hate the fact that he's left, and I think he might have been fairly close to going to Minnesota. But, sometimes things happen, and, whatever happens, and then people thought, well, his dad's at A&M. Maybe he's going to go to A&M. I hear now that he may be between Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, and for maybe not nearly as much money as he might have anticipated starting out this process. Sam said, didn't he say we'll accept some guys back in? I think they've already gotten Bridges back, right, that went into the portal. So I think part of the problem is the timing of it, when you have to make decisions so soon after the season. It's just, I think Arkansas is down 11 or 12 starters now in the bowl game.
Is there anything you want to see out of the bowl game? How do we look at this as fans, and even as the university of Arkansas? How do they look at this bowl game? Is this a serious game? Are you trying just to not get hurt? Or I don't even know how you take this game seriously.
Yeah, I think, Matt, you're just kind of looking for young players, development of young players. Maybe K.J. Jackson gets to play it in some fashion. We always kind of liked him in practice. He's 6'4", he can throw it. That might not happen depending on the game. If Talon plays well and is healthy, he'll probably get the most or all of it. But there are some guys that you're going to be checking your roster. Maybe even radio guys, Phil, making sure now who's this guy who was third team all year, now he's playing. So it might be interesting to see some of these young guys play. I can't imagine that Texas Tech wouldn't win this football game, Matt. They've only lost two guys the last time I heard.
And my thought is you got to just make everything as simple as possible, because you think about our pass blocking with all our offensive linemen that we had. Well, all of a sudden we're going to take some new guys and teach them all these new concepts. It's like you're going to have one type of zone passing scheme, one type of man passing scheme, one or two runs, and then you got to go out there and play fast and have fun. I don't think you can really – 10% of the offense, 10% of the defense is all I really think they'll be able to put in for a game like this.
Well, it's interesting, too, that Sam has been working really kind of with the second-teamers and third-teamers on the offensive line all year, and now some of these guys are going to be playing. Edmondson's going to play center. You got the kid Branham, I think, and some other ones. Now, we're going to see how much effectiveness old offensive line coach Sam Pittman had with these guys developing them, but can they step in and kind of seamlessly do a pretty good job there? So, I'm going to watch the game with interest, but, you only had 10 practices, I think, this year compared to maybe 15 or 20 in some other years, but I suppose it all helps for next year.
Grant, how long have you been covering Arkansas football? I know it's, all the other programs, but specifically football, how long do you think you've been covering?
Starting in '72, so it was 53rd season, I think.
All right, the only reason I'm asking this, and I got to preface it by saying I'm not trying to chase you out of your career. We have fans that have texted in, called in, saying they're giving up on college football. They are ready to give up because they view what's happened with the sport right now with such distaste. You have coaches that are doing the same thing. I wonder about, guys like you that have covered the game for so long and view it with a reverence. I think that's one of the reasons that you've stayed covering Arkansas for so long, is a reverence for college sports. And, it starts with football. Do you consider in your mind, ending it at some point? Is it distasteful enough to where you don't want to cover it anymore?
No, I've always loved sports. I love the process of it, the actual playing of the games. A lot has changed, but, I'll give you an example. The other night, Phil, at the basketball Monday night at Sassy's, the entire basketball team came in there, and Big Z, just watching him interact with these guys, a huge smile on his face the whole time, and he's got some things to do. He needs to improve defensively, but just to see him interact with the whole team and how popular he was, I get a kick out of stuff like that still. So, and with football, I wish we could still watch practice. We can't. A lot about it that was fun, we don't get to do anymore. But who knows? The average fan probably just wants to be entertained. They're going to be watching this weekend when they play these big games. Now, I don't know about the Fiasco Bowl, the Frisco Bowl last night. I watched about 3 plays of that. I look at some of these bowl games, and you think, what's the point with 2 6-6 teams not geographically matched? Why are they even bothering to do this anymore? But
I love the idea of branding this the Fiasco Bowl. Just say the Fiasco Bowl, brought to you by college football.
It's the first name of the portal, the first zone, the Fiasco zone.
Nate Allen's favorite was the Toilet Bowl in Flushing, New York.
Hey, so real quick, while we got you, all chalk. Who any of these road teams win this first weekend of the playoff 12? How do you see it going?
I don't think so, Matt.
Okay.
I think all the home teams are favored by at least a touchdown, right? So
I got Tennessee. I got the only one. I got chalk. I'm going chalk, and then I'm going to take Tennessee over Ohio State. So I didn't. That's the only one. But I could see. I think SMU, if they're up front, could play with them a little bit. Clemson's got that front 7. You never know how Quinn Ewers is going to play. But yeah, a lot of people are going all chalk.
Well, Ryan Day's got the dreaded vote of confidence with a 66-10 record. They decided that would do for another year, but he probably doesn't need to lose that one for his fan, for how they feel about him.
The situation in Columbus is wild. They're going into playoff with the rumors circulating about this guy or that guy being interested in the job. Big names like Urban.
Dude, Penn State's quarterback. Well, Penn State's backup quarterback gets into the portal. You're thinking that's the word. Like, how do you? What happens? We need our backup quarterback. We're trying to win a national championship.
Crazy.
It is.
The Heisman Trophy winner is going to play in the bowl game. I did see that. So.
And the potential. Well, I don't know who's going to be the number 1 overall pick, but Sanders is going in the first round. Hunter's going in the first round. So, I wonder the last time or how many first round picks over the last 10, 15 years have actually played in the bowl game. So, Grant, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate you coming on with us. Thanks again and again. I'm not trying to end your careers. Just I wanted your perspective on that.
Well, Merry Christmas, guys, and Happy New Year.
You got it. Merry Christmas to you, Grant.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number 1 source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.